I've been skating for my whole life, and this is probably the most connected to like a community I've ever felt, actually, the Courts. Yeah. The Courts is maybe the most diverse space in the city, maybe. Like, everybody comes here, and they're all from different places, and they all call it home, which is really cool. My name is Rick McCrank.
My name is Dakota Cootes.
My name's Osmar Cárdenas.
Yo me llamo Osmar.
Yo me llamo Camila.
My name's Nathan.
And the Courts right behind us is a very special space.
Okay, my name is Rick McCrank. I'm a professional skateboarder, and I live here in Vancouver.
My name is Dakota Cootes. I'm a queer Indigenous trans woman, one of the main builders of the Britannia Courts.
My name's Nathan. I'm he, him, father of 2 boys.
My name's Osmar Cárdenas. Pronouns are he, him. I live just up the street, and the Courts right behind us is a very special space, and yeah, happy to be so close to it and be able to enjoy it.
There's not a lot of skate parks that have a vibe, like especially a community vibe. Like this is more often than not even just a hangout for people, right? Like, especially with this garden here and the way we're sitting.
This is a sick area.
No, it's perfect.
I think this is a beautiful place. We're like surrounded by nature and like a growing garden, and it's just like a really friendly community that I connect with really easily. And honestly, I've been skating for my whole life, and this is probably the most connected to like a community I've ever felt.
Yo me llamo Camila y soy de Colombia.
Yo me llamo Osmar y soy de Guadalajara, México. Es un lugar especial. Aquí hemos pasado mucho tiempo y está bien chingón. Pues yo vengo acá seguido porque se me hace un parque muy amigable para practicar. Puedes intentar cualquier tipo de cosas. Y pues aquí es el parque donde normalmente patino.
La primera vez que yo vine aquí había un concurso para chicas, personas trans, no binarias. Entonces fue como algo muy inspirador, y desde este momento la vibra ha sido siempre la misma, súper inclusiva, y todo el mundo se apoya.
Me gusta un montón venir por acá porque siempre termino haciendo amigos. Siempre la gente se acerca a mí y son muy amigables todo el tiempo. Yo al principio era muy penoso porque sentía que me daba mucha pena hablar por mi inglés, pero gracias a la gente que he estado conociendo aquí y todo eso, siento que me he podido desenvolver muy cómodo y me hacen sentir pues en mucha confianza, y patinar con gente que tiene pues una energía muy positiva y todo, siempre es divertido, te lo contagian todo el tiempo.
I actually see it as like maybe the most diverse space in the city, maybe. I don't know. Everybody comes here, and they're all from different places, and they all call it home, which is really cool. Like, it's inclusive. That's the word I'm looking for. Like the most inclusive space that I think I've ever been in. Except for that, there is one thing, is it's skateboarding. You know what I mean?
Right.
I have seen other like wheeled things come in here and people being weird about it, and I thought that was strange because it is an inclusive space.
With kids on scooters and kids on bikes, and which is fine and all, but it is also nice to have a spot that's, sure, you can come here on your bike and your scooter. You don't see it that often. Not even very fun for them. But to have a spot that is kind of like by skaters, for skaters, is what makes this one nice. I mean, it's, to use the term, like ours, you know?
So I grew up like on Vancouver Island, at times like street entrenched and stuff, but my mom, who has struggled with addictions her whole life, skated my entire life. as a kid. And then when I was like 19 or 20, started realizing that something was different with me in terms of like gender experience and like sexuality and like just whatever. And then at the time, this was like going back to like 2012 or so, it's like skateboarding was super homophobic still. I mean, like obviously there's pockets of that still, but it was really, really bad then, and like there was definitely like no girls skating really, like that just wasn't a thing. And there was especially like no one, I don't even think was out yet. Like I don't even think BA had come out yet. So I was kind of faced with this sort of conundrum of practicing my culture or being myself, and then I also got injured when I was like 19 or 20. Like, yeah, that sort of solidified it for me. And I spent 10 years not skateboarding, like I fully quit skating for 10 years, just traveled and did anything else I could to try and fill that void. And so skateboarding was kind of my only reprieve from that.
So right when the pandemic happened, that's when I picked up skateboarding, and I just lived blocks up that way and came down and started skating here because it is such a welcoming community. And one of the neat things about Courts, at least for when I was starting out, and for beginners in general, is because it is a DIY and all of the features are movable, features can be made a lot more approachable and accessible. Sometimes when you go to large concrete parks, it can be pretty intimidating. At least it was really intimidating for me. But coming here and being able to put a few features together and make it a bit more beginner friendly is something that really helped my own personal growth and my own confidence level.
When I was a kid, I would go to some wooden skate parks. They weren't like DIY take over a space kind of thing, but back then it was a more aggressive culture. You know what I mean? So I didn't get to go much. I didn't have money to pay to go in these places. So this place being free is insane. Like I know what it's like to just look through that fence and not be able to get in there. And I would go at night and then try to skate what I could they had chains. But I don't know, back then it was like wasn't very friendly. So I see now this place is like it's very friendly and accepting of anybody, and like you can see like there's people like me who are pro skaters here and people that are brand new, and they all mingle and kind of call home. I mean, for people that are starting here, I've seen people like start from zero here, and they're like, I see them find their community and their space and their happiness and their release and all that, like, and I think it's really beautiful. It doesn't have to last forever, but it's like the current state it's in is pretty great. I try to like appreciate the moment I'm in, and right now it's like really beautiful. Yeah.
But that's what I've always enjoyed about these kind of spots. And especially nowadays. I mean, in the 90s and in the 2000s, it was a lot more white bread for sure. I mean, it was pretty much cut and paste, just a couple of looks. Like there wasn't the acceptance. And even if you did look different in skateboarding, as much as skateboarders have always liked to say they're super accepting, I mean, everyone knows if you've been around it long enough, they're not really. Like, they definitely weren't. And now, whether it be the fact that people want to and are also kind of being forced to be more accepting, I mean, I think it's a positive. Everything comes with a little bit of effort sometimes.
And then actually during the pandemic, a good friend of mine was like, you have to come check out this space. You have to come check out the space, and just like kept bothering me. They were a roller skater, but they just were insistent that I come down because they were like, there's all these girls and all these queers, this magical Christmas land of skateboarding where nobody gives a shit. And I was like, bullshit, that's not real. And then one day I finally took a chance and came down, and it happened to be 2 days before Stop, Drop, and Roll, which is an all like local Femmes and Thems skate contest that happens here once a year. And that was like the Wednesday, and the contest was on Saturday. And so I went from like skating for a day and then not being able to barely ollie even anymore, and I like tore all my micro balancers, like just couldn't walk straight, like I feel like I just got off a horse, And then Saturday, showed up to the contest. And everyone's like, you have to enter, you have to enter. And I was like, not fucking entering, because it's not like an accurate representation of like, you know, what I know I'm capable of. So I ended up judging somehow. I got like picked out of the crowd and ended up judging and meeting like Michelle Pazell from Antisocial and like a whole bunch of people who became huge supporters of me in the last couple of years at that contest. And so I went from my knowledge of skateboarding being it's just like predominantly like white homophobic cis dudes skating and just like being dickheads at skate parks to a completely sanctioned event for women and queers, you know? Like I actually cried, like it blew my mind because I just didn't even believe that it was possible. And so instantly Courts just became sort of my safe haven.
I don't know anyone, again, that doesn't love skating this spot, just for the whole vibe of it. I mean, it's blossomed into something even more so than obviously what it used to be. Now it's its own little entity now. I mean, it's its own little bubble space here now with the garden and the graffiti wall and the court cleanups events that they do where they invite everyone to come down if they want and they provide paint and everyone can repaint everything and you know they bring down wooden tools and everybody can build something, take something apart, move it around. That dynamic aspect of this space or with any DIY is obviously what makes it special and sets it apart from anything else. You roll up here, it doesn't look like the last week or it doesn't look like it did in the morning when you showed up. As an archetype for a spot, I think it's, or at least should be, inspiring for people because now with the Britannia skateboard kind of like coalition thing where they've now created their own body as an entity to take it on, maintain it.
And I knew that it was all built by the community members. And so I kind of just waited and mentioned that I'd done carpentry and stuff when I was younger. And eventually a friend of mine asked me to help build the mani pad. And I was like, sweet, okay, cool. And got to start contributing. And then just slowly over the last 2 years, I've somehow kind of become someone who takes on very large projects here and sort of become the person who sort of oversees the construction element of things on our build days.
My sponsor, Girl Skateboards, did this program where they did these boards for each city, kind of all over the world, really. And for the Vancouver one, we decided to do one that didn't say Vancouver, but it said Britannia Courts. And all proceeds will go to the courts for building and repairing and things like that. And so far, it's been really well accepted. And, yeah, Girl just wanted to give back to the community that supported them, so they made boards for different towns all over the world and say thank you. Yeah, it's always good to say thanks.
Yeah, we have monthly meetings and different community groups have monthly meetings and encourage them to come out and learn more and stuff. Working with community centers, at least in my experience, has been a very positive experience because you have that direct relationship and much closer relationship to those decision makers.
Having a safe space in a community that represents some faction of yourself is critical, I think, for all humans in any community. And Courts has very much been that for me, thankfully. And so I do my best now to ensure that it remains that way and can provide that experience for other people as well. Get involved. That's what we're here for.
Come visit. Courts is for everyone.
Turn off your fucking computer. Go skate.
Let's do it.